Because she's in the middle of people that are very French, and sometimes the French Judaism is very, we want elite, we want Ashkenazi. No. The mic is on, and the recording will be. You know how to put the recording?
No,
Just
show me once again, please.
See here, this one.
Yes.
After on the top.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay, that's it.
Okay. See you soon. Run.
Be'ez Hashem. Thank you very much, Robert. Should I start now?
Give me 5 minutes.
Okay. Very good. This world. This world. Shalom, shalom. Oh.
Shalom, Rabbi. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom לכולם, חברים.
Shalom, Rabbi. Shalom, shalom.
מה שלומכם? How are
טוב.
we?
Yeah, טוב בסדר גמור.
How was the Shabbat?
טוב, good.
Baruch
Baruch.
Hashem. Is this Rabbi Ravi?
Yes, yes.
How are you?
Fine, Rabbi.
Good to see you once again.
Yeah. Come later.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. We are okay in Yerushalayim. And yeah. How do I maximize this? Never mind. I'm not too good in these things, but Besot Hashem. Oh. Wow. Miracle will never end in this world. Miracle will never end in this world. Just a small technical problem, okay? I'll be with you now.
Yes, good. My children are noising, so that's why I'm muted.
What did you say?
My children's is this Sunday, na? So the children around to me, they are playing games.
Okay. Not too sure where.
It's okay, Rabbi. Everything okay. It recording also, and your voice is also.
So everything is okay there, okay?
Yeah.
So our theme of our limud today is Tikkun Olam. But I wanted to change just a little bit, but the main theme is Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. We are going through the letter of Ramban to his son. Ramban was one of the Rishonim. He was one of the Kabbalists. There are a number of hidden meanings in his letter. But we are not going to deal with that for now. We are going to look at the face value of his letter, which is basically about refining one's character midot. Ramban himself did not provide an explanation as to what he meant, but the translator of his his letter, are the very ones who made the commentaries, very extensive commentaries, and they bring up all the sources on which they have based their commentaries. The pages of this letter, or the pages of our topics were sent it in the group. I believe we must have them before us. And again, Ramban did not divide his letter into portions, but the translator of his letter divided his letter into portions, into sections. So we are, on a weekly basis, we will deal with each of this section of this letter. But before we get there, we will devote a few minutes to learning halacha or halachot according to Ben Shchai. Ben Shchai's halachot are also divided according to the parashiot or of Torah. We did not finish the halachot of last week's parsha. We are going to deal with it, or we are going to learn from to learn them today, and then we will see where we will end. So, Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam is translated as repairing the world, or fixing the world. I'm not too sure whether you can see the board, right? Fixing the world or repairing the world. Repairing the world. For those who have been following our limud or limudim, it has been emphasized in most of our limud that our world is a damaged world. It requires, or not that it requires. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent Am Israel into this world with such a responsibility or a mission to do what a Jew has been discharged to do in this world. Last week, we also brought some opinions, some teachings of our sages, such as Ramchal. Ramchal, in his book called Derech Hashem, there, if I'm not mistaken, is chapter 2. well, it depends whether it's you read it in English or in Hebrew or in other language, but in English it's chapter 2. Ramchal went on to say that everything that you see in this world was created for a specific mission. I mean, for a specific purpose. And when its time is over, if it is an animal, it becomes extinct. If it's a human being, you pass on. If it's an insect, likewise, the same thing happens. If it's a tree, yes, everything has got its time in this world, either to serve humanity or otherwise. But everything has got a mission. So as a Jew, we have got a mission that is so different from the missions of other nations. And our mission is to repair this world. How do we repair the world? Is by fulfilling or performing the mitzvot. Performing mitzvot in this world. But how does one perform mitzvot? Have we been shown how to perform those mitzvot? This is where the halakha comes in. If we do not know what halakha means, then there is nothing really we can do in terms of performing the mitzvot. Mitzvot is just a commandment, in other words. But the word mitzvot, it goes beyond that. So now we are starting with halachot. Just an introduction of, not introduction, just a recap of what we have done, what we have learned, and what we have dealt with last week. Now, going to the halachot. We covered up to halakha. I'm not too sure whether we ended with halakha or we left off at halakha number 8 or number 9. But never mind. I will start with halakha number 8. Halakha number 8 it reads as follows. The custom here in Baghdad is to calculate the length of day from daybreak to nightfall. It's about, according to the custom, this is about the time of prayers, halachical time. Halachical time when a Jew is required to pray and when is not required to pray. When I said required to pray, I'm talking about communal prayer. That's why I'm glad that Rabbi Ravi, I think it was last week or a week before, you did ask a very, very good question that many people are ignorant of. Your question was much more related to Amidah. And we spoke a lot of, we explain a number of things when it comes to to tefillah or tefillot. The Jewish prayers, 18 brachot, that forms Amidah. As we always emphasize, and many people are ignorant. First 18 brachot were formulated by the Anisei Knesset HaGadolah, meaning the great men, the men of great assembly. That it consisted of 120 members. And including, in this number, there were some prophets, the last prophets. I think there were there were 4 or 5, I'm not too sure now. But there were a number of prophets. Only later on, that number 19, or the 19th bracha, was added to number 18. It's very, very important for us, particularly our students who are in a conversion, in their guilt to become Jews. To know this is very, very important. Because this 18 brachot or 19 brachot that was added later on cannot be changed, cannot be made less, and they cannot be made more, not for now. And I do not know any halakha that gives any poskim the right or the authority to increase this number. Rabbi Gamaliel was probably the exceptional one. But not for now, as far as I know, they cannot be made less, and they cannot be made more. So Ben Shchai was talking about the prayers. Now he is starting now with the time of these prayers. Because our prayers, we only pray 3 times a day. A communal prayer must only consist of Aravit, Shacharit, and the Mincha. Okay, on Shabbat is a different, because there is another prayer called Musaf, another Minhag. I'm not Minhag, but in other festivals. So the Hagim, you find, but yet we have got only 3 tefillot in a day. According to custom established in our city, meaning Beidad, nightfall is 20 minutes after Magarav. I don't know what this English word, I don't know, but I will explain. It's called exactly at the end of 12 hours. Let's take the information. The author uses nightfall as this point of reference from which the hours of the day are calculated backwards. It's a subdivision of 1/12 of the time between daybreak and a nightfall. Minhag, not Minhag. Mincha Katana is at 9.5 hours of the day, as above. And there is thus 2.5 hours before nightfall. the midway point between Mincha, Katana, and the nightfall. Plug Haminicha, 10 3/4 hour of the day above, is 1 1/4 hours before nightfall. I have explained last week, this is the halachical times for our tefillot, our tefillah, or tefillot, plural. According to custom, Aravit may be prayed 20 minutes after the Prague Minicha. According to custom, Aravit may be prayed 20 minutes after Prague Minicha. Thus, when the day is 12 hours long, and each halachic hour is exactly 1 hour long, Prague Minicha is 1 hour and a quarter before nightfall. I have explained this. That is at 10 3/4 hours of the day. And the one may pray Aravit 20 minutes later, 85 minutes after 11th hour. Again, the translator of this halachot was referring probably at his time, not at his time, but in his location, geographical locations. He just give a general understanding for us to relate to. But we have to follow what the authorities in your city, in your country determines about the prayer times. Very, very important. Either you are praying alone or by yourself, you still need the guidance of rabbi in your city, or whoever is in charge of the community. Not really in charge, but the community leader. We go on. If the day is 15 hours long, that is when they break, it's at the beginning of the 10th hour, nightfall. That is the night is 9 hours long, or the day 15 hours. Each halachic hour is 1 1/4 hours. And a quarter of a halachic hour is 15. No, sorry, I beg your pardon. Of a halachical hour is 19 minutes long. That's a Prague Minicha, an hour and a quarter before nightfall. It's actually 1 hour and 24 minutes before nightfall. As one may pray Aravit 20 minutes after Prague Minicha, one may thus pray 14 minutes before the 11th hour. Again, this is just a general application. A general application. The author or the translator wants us to have. No, a general understanding, not a general application, but a general understanding. I jump to, not that I jump, Halacha number 9. Two halachical opinions regarding latest time to pray Minicha have already been mentioned. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Minicha may not be prayed after the Prague Minicha. According to the majority of the sages, Minicha may be prayed until night. It is now necessary to define the exact time according to the later view, until when one pray mincha. The more lenient opinion, that is, that majority of the sages does not allow one to pray mincha after dusk. What is dusk? Dusk is defined as in Shulchan Aruch, chapter 261, as being the length of time that is takes to walk 13 quarters of a meal, namely 13.5 minutes after sunset. And the exact time of sunset in Baghdad has been established in previous generations by observation from the highest point in the city, as I have said, as I have just hinted before. Your geographical location determines exactly when this halachic time should be applied. It's being 7 minutes before Mahrav is called. Whatever this word is, I don't know. I have to get it to Hebrew. If one did not pray mincha at the correct time, I conclude in my work, Rav Palim, that is Orach Chaim, chapter 19, that here in Baghdad, one may pray until 6 minutes after. I wanted to believe it's a Prag Mincha. Until then, it is still dusk. We will finish with this halakha before we get to our main limud. The total period of dusk is 13.5 minutes. 7 minutes before sunset until Maharav, plus 6.5 minutes. From Paracha, my goodness, Maharav until the end of dusk. However, nightfall is 14 minutes later. The end of dusk, when mincha may no longer be prayed, is when 13 medium-sized stars become visible. Nightfall, when one is obliged to recite Kriyat Shema, according to all opinion, is when 3 small stars become visible. However, since it is necessary to pray the majority portion of the Amidah during the permitted time, one should not begin the Amidah later than 4 minutes after Mahrav is called. Okay, now I understand. Mahrav is not called at the same time in all areas. We mentioned a few minutes ago. Plagi Zal mentions is one of the authority. The case of a city where sunset occurs 10 minutes before Mahrav is called, that city, the time of dusk must be calculated accordingly. I have heard that in the old city where I am now, Jerusalem, and in Hebron, if Maharav has already been called, Mincha is subsequently not prayed, both during the week and on Shabbat. The source has been given here. I think you should have received you should have the page that was sent in the group. Chavrim, about halakha, we end here for today. Is there any question on halakha? Is there any question, any opinion, anything that was not clear? Rabbi, are you there with me? Looks that you are the only chavrut I have this morning.
Yes, Rabbi. I have earphones, so that's why I'm listening on the second room.
Baruch
because my
Hashem.
children are, yeah.
Baruch Hashem.
Toda Rabba.
If there is no question, then we are going to our main limud. Our main limud, as you can see the board. If you can see the board, is Tikkun Olam. What is Tikkun Olam? Repairing the world.
Repairing the world.
Repairing the world. Now we are going to the letter of Ramban in the section 3. Section 3. And I believe it was also sent in the group. If it was not sent, my sincere apology. I do not have any means to send it to you. It reads as follows in Hebrew. First in Hebrew. Hi midah ra'a leachati bnei adam. It translated as follows. Anger is a most serious character flaw which causes one to sin. Okay, I think the translator also, because the word anger is not really mentioned in Hebrew in that section, because the anger in Hebrew is ka'as, whereas sin in Hebrew is chete. But let's see where the translator is leading us to. The commentaries. Anger and idolatry. Idolatry. Why did the translator parallel these two aspects, anger and idolatry? Why? Let's see. Anger is not only an individual character trait. It is a barometer of a personality as well. A wise man advised, before you take someone as your friend, observe him when he is angered. Guess what? The word angered, when he is angered. His conduct under pressure will tell you volumes about his true nature. The source is also given here, or the translator gives the source. Masechet Eruvim. When a person consistently loses his temper, he loses his rational sense as well. The very basis of his relationship with God can become endangered, for there is nothing to restrain him. That's the Talmud, Masechet Shabbat, 100 Amud, or Daf, particular Daf, meaning the page. 105 Bet, meaning B, states, the man who loses himself to anger is considered to have worshipped idols. There are three. I don't know whether they are not aspect. They are not aspect. Circumstances or situations where a Jew must be prepared even to give up his life. And one of those is worshiping idol. Forbidden relationship. The commentary here says, or quoting the Talmud, the Masechet Shabbat, that a person who loses himself to anger is considered to have worshipped idols. Anger. We continue. I wanted to bring some sources. No, not other sources. To corroborate what the translator has forwarded in his commentary. When a person becomes unrestricted, he approached idolatry, unable to think clearly. The man who is lost in a fury loses perspective. The crooked path appears straight. The forbidden seems permissible. Insult, quarreling, and the slander are no longer distant from him. Although any otherwise sensitive man, the angered person may in his fury come even to humiliate others publicly. You know, humiliating or causing embarrassment to somebody is also considered as murder. We're no longer guided by reason. When no longer guided by reason, even the most unspeakable act can come within reach, meaning within his reach. Eliyahu, the prophet, the author here, not the author, the translator, deduced or produced one more source that involves the prophet Eliyahu. He said, quoting what Eliyahu has said, if you never come to anger, you will never come to sin. I wanted to repeat that. If you never come to anger, you will never come to sin. And this is a Masechet. This story or this quotation is taken from Masechet Brachot, here it says Masechet Brachot 29, page 29, Aleph, or A. I wanted to look up what the story that speaks about Eliyahu. But I discovered that it's kind of oh, never mind what I have discovered. This is what it says in Masechet Brachot. It says, Amale Eliyahu lerav Yehuda. Akuha Rav Sela Chasida. La tirichat tiriktach velo chete. Techite. La tirive velo techite. וכשאתה יוצא לדרך, הימלך בקונך בצא. מה? This is a question. מה? הימלך בקונך בצא. אמר רבי יעקב, אמר רב חסדה, זאת תפילת הדרך, ואמר רבי יעקב, אמר רב חסדה, כל היוצא לדרך צריך להתפלל תפילה הדרך. Basically, it says here, on the topic of prayers. Remember, we are dealing with the prayers in a brachot. I mean, in a halachot of according to Ben Shchai. But this is the Gemara here is referring to the prayer that we pray when you are on the road. Sometime before you embark on the road. Not when you have arrived to your destination. On the way, or either before you embark on the journey. Welcome, Rabbi Akiva. On the topic of prayer recited while traveling in times of danger, the Gemara discusses the troubles of prayer. When he appeared to him, Eliyahu the prophet said to Rav Yehuda, brother of Rav Salah Chasida, do not get angry, and you will not sin. Do not get drunk, and you will not sin. And when you set out on a journey, consult with your Creator, and then set out. Rabbi Yaakov said that Rabbi Hizda said, that is the travel's prayer. And the Rabbi Yaakov said, that it was Rabbi Hizda said it. It is not only good advice, but establish halakha, that one who sets out on a journey must recite the travel's prayer prior to embarking on his journey. Why did I bring this Gemara at this particular point? Is because in the Gemara or Masechet Brachot, is because there it speaks about, among other things, it speaks about anger. It may be, we do not need to judge. This tells me, or wants to tell me, that it's not only about when you want to travel. It's about every prayer. Every prayer, you must not get there into prayers while angry. Make peace with those you have offended or offended you before you get into prayer. Because like it is said in a Masechet Shabbat mentioned, anger is idol worship. Do not bring that because, well, not because, do not bring that into prayer before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We know that it says one of the three things that a Jew is required to give up his life, one of those things is idol worship. We go on for a few minutes. When I beg your pardon. The Talmud Pesachim 66 Bet or B stresses the consequences of falling prey to wrath. Whoever loses his temper, if he is a scholar, he will lose his wisdom. If a prophet, he will lose his Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh. Indeed, the Gemara warns that a man's unbridled fury can potentially destroy his life. Pesachim, Masechet Pesachim, 113, Bet or B. Another source brought forth here by the translator is a Sefer HaChasdim, illustrating how one man who controlled his anger saved himself from destroying his family. And the story goes as follows. Once there was a son who was extraordinarily respectful to his father. On his deathbed, the father said, "My son, you honored me in my lifetime, and now you must honor me after my death. I command you, if you should ever be overcome by anger, again, anger, hold your anger in overnight." After his father's death, the son was forced to embark on a prolonged journey, which took him to distant lands for tens of years. Unbeknown to him, the wife he left behind was expecting his child. After his years of absence, the husband returned to home unannounced, hoping to joyously surprise his wife. But as he approached his bedchamber, he saw his wife embracing a handsome young man, a stranger. The husband became furious and reached for his dagger when he suddenly remembered the pledge he made to his father. He must hold in his rage overnight. The next day he was shocked to discover that the young man in his wife's embrace was none other than his own son. The child that his wife had born during his long absence. The man was thus saved from tragically slaughtering his own family. This gives us also to give it the benefit of the doubt. In a Judaism, absolutism is something that is not truly Jewish. We need to give it the benefit of the doubt. Do not judge that things are the way you see them to be. Rabbi, can you help me here, please? Welcome.
Oh.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Everything is in French. So, still 18 minutes to go. Last week, we discussed about free choice. How much is that a free choice? And what is really free choice? Rabbi Pinchas, my Rosh Yeshiva in Botzina Kadisha, gave a limud on a shiur on this subject. And one of the things that I could share with you, what we have learned in this limud, is that what is really freedom of choice really mean? To understand what freedom of choice is, one must be able to tell us or to tell me how the soul of man, or what made up of the soul of man. And if the forces that made up of your soul, if you could control them, then probably is when we talk about the free choice. If you do not know them, and you do not have control over them, what is your true, what is it, free choice? Human beings are so inundated with many concepts that are truly not known to them. I keep on emphasizing to those who discuss some of this idea. I said, if you are not the one who coined an idea, certainly you cannot define it as it what it is. The one who coined a word is the same one who has got the authority of the definition of the word. You and I are just simply a user of the word, users of the word or the concept. They tell us exactly what it means, not exactly, they tell us what it means. And then we use it. So the Rabbi Pinchas, I remember Rabbi Pinchas says, there is no such a thing as a free choice. For those who want this limud of Rabbi Pinchas, you are most welcome to ask to ask the recording and to listen to it for yourself. So when you look at it, why did I bring up this? What we have learned last week. It looks that anger, ka'as, is an entity like any other entity that attacks a man. And they attack a man in different forms. It uses different vessels. It uses the vessel like I'm seeing in a situation, and that this situation is not the way I expected the thing to be. I look into the situation, and I'm looking at the situation with a preconceived mind of things. I look into the situation with the prejudices. I don't like him or I don't like her. What do you expect from her? From your angle of prejudice and biasness, you judge things. And that's why you became angry. Yes, do you remember what he said to me? Or what he said the other day? I became angry. And I did not give the benefit of the doubt to ask a person, what did Rabbi, what exactly did you mean when you said that? So anger seems to be a force that attacks all that can come, all that approach a man through different forms, situations, circumstances. This is exactly what, this is the scenario. I'm not the scenario. This is the example, an accurate example that we need to learn from. When a man, it says, when a man left his pregnant woman or wife for a long, long time, and they came back and found his wife is being embraced by a man. So the husband wanted to even to, he was in action. He was in a mood to attack, to destroy, even to kill. This is prejudices, biasness, the shortness of the limitation of a man to see beyond things. The Chazal says, do not judge, in the Pirkei was, do not judge your fellow until you reach his gate. Had he not reached his gate, his wife's gate, he would have killed. He would have killed, he would have murdered. This is anger. Anger is really, kind of a parasite. And then no one is truly immune to it. The author, not the author, the translator here, give a scenario. It doesn't matter whether you are a prophet. It doesn't matter what is social status you have. Young or old, noble, common, it doesn't matter. It comes. But what he says, what protects a man is Torah. Nothing else but the Torah. That's why the Gemara says here, it give us advice. It says it is not only good advice, but establish halakha that anyone who set out on a journey must recite Travis prayer prior to embarking on a journey. But previously it speaks about anger, drunkenness. Do not become angry. Do not judge a situation at its face value, because truly you do not know. The things of this world, we truly do not know unless, like the Midrash says, Chaga, the well, as they were going out of Abraham's house, the child started crying. Of thirst, of hunger. Okay, perhaps hunger is my own word. But the angel came to her and showed to her the well of water. But the well of water was just next to her. We are blind until we are made to see. And again, on yesterday's Limud, Rabbi Pinchas gave us something quite very, very interesting that I would love to have a chavruta with him once again. He says, if we look at harmony as a product of intelligence, if we look at harmony, this is something that can only be brought about by intellect of man. It's a mistake, a very big mistake. It should be the opposite. That we take harmony to understand harmony to bina, to understanding, to intellect. I wanted to conclude my limud for today with a quote with the teaching of Rambam, not Ramban, but Rambam. Rambam teaches in halachot the ought. Say halakha according to Rambam, that a person should balance his personality trait, avoiding the extremes of any trait. He should endeavor to be strong, yet flexible, compassion, yet firm. Rambam notes, however, one exception to his rule in reference to anger. Again, anger. There is no middle way. A person must strive rather for an opposite extreme, avoiding wrath even in situations where anger is indeed justifiable. I remember before my conversion, a couple of years ago, I heard this halachot by Rambam. That changed my life in my interacting with the general public. Having been in a public office for some time, this halacha changed me. And it made me even to measure the attitude of my fellow. Do not be too extreme on the left or right, but the middle path. The middle path is what many sages teaching I came across recommend. And here Rambam is getting it forth. Middle path. But anger, that cast itself, there's no middle, according to Rambam. A person must, I beg your pardon. Similarly, Sefer Hamidot Shara Hashna writes, the trait of anger is undeniable evil. I like it when my fellow brothers and sisters in Nigeria used to say, oh, he's so wicked. He's so evil. Yes, it is anger is undeniable evil. It is natural to wild and the unclean animal or animals, beast and the birds of prey. The angry man is similar to a viper who is food. The dust of the earth is available to eat wherever the bird travels. So too, the anger of the angry man may easily find the cause to become ablaze, regardless of the situation which he finds himself. Anger reaches outside itself. Anger does not remain inside itself. It affects those who live around it as well. King Shlomo advises in Mishlei 22, do not associate with a man of temper, and do not come near a man of wrath, lest you learn from his ways and endanger your soul. Not your body, but your soul. Anger is indeed contagious. By associating with a short-tempered person, one may also come to adapt his nature. Similarly, it is not only the angry person himself who can be led to transgressions. For once many anger can bring others to sin also. We learn in Penishchai Shalachot on the halachot of vidui. The Talmud Gittin 6bet or B wants that a man should be extremely careful not to show anger in the presence of his wife. You did not cook. You did not bring that. You my is not done properly. lest he come to discredit the Shabbat. Once upon a time, somebody came to me, well, that was in Namibia, came to me. She was not a Jew, but she wanted to get into this path of observing Shabbat. And then we talk about this, how easily a woman can be frustrated. And once she gets frustrated, she loses her mind. Here the translator is cautioning us not to go to that an extent when we relate it to our wives. Rashi explains that a wife who lives in a fear of her husband's rage may, in order to protect herself, come to light candles or finish cooking after the onset of Shabbat. Sometime, yeah. We don't need to judge, but we must know these character traits are associated with idol worship. Indeed, in many ways, the repercussions of men's anger, of a man's anger, reached far beyond himself. I understand this to mean it does not only make somebody a victim, it can go beyond that current victim. So, my dear friend, I am running out of my allocated time. I want to end my limud for today on the letter of Ramban, not Rambam, on our character trait, and the anger is the most dominant in the two portions that we have covered so far. The first one was speaking gently to all people, regardless of their age, their background, and regardless of their character trait. We may not like the person's character or character traits. We may not like the way probably he relates to others. We may not perhaps like his background or her background. We may not perhaps like his social stance, or the list goes on. We need to speak. This can be our business partners. It can be our children. This can be the non-Jew or a fellow Jew. We need to speak, to refine that, speaking gently to each other, to a very person. If there is any question, I do not see even a Ravi has disappeared. But never mind. If there is any question, please join me tomorrow, Best of Hashem. I will appreciate. I will welcome your question if there is any. Thank you very much for the space that you have given me to share with you the wisdom of our sages. Is propounded by the translators on the letter of Ramban. Thank you very much once again. Hope to see you again tomorrow. B'ezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai leolam. Amen ve'amen. And תודה רבה, תודה רבה, תודה רבה. נכון? No?
Yeah, this one.
Aha, you know.